Today on Monkey Life, concern for Loris Bruce after the team find a lump on the side of his face.
That could be a deep-seated abscess, in which case we're going to drain it.
Orangutan Oshine is under the weather and gets a little TLC from Jeremy.
How you doing? Are you right? Oh man.
And treats for the woollies after their big house move. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Right, ready to go. 3 monkeys in the box, not too bad.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 21 different species. At the Loris complex, there's concern for one of the residents, Bruce. Wildlife vet John Lewis has been called in to take a look.
So really the first time you noticed a large swelling on his face was October.
Yes.
Maybe a grumbling abscess. Wow.
A few weeks ago, the team spotted a lump developing on the side of Bruce's face, and it's become quite prominent. But because loris are nocturnal animals, it hasn't been easy to monitor.
We have changed the lights over for the loris, so they are awake when we're at work, but they're in a dark light because they're nocturnal, so they wouldn't be awake on the white light. So it does make things a little bit trickier because it's not as easy to spot things. They are incredibly fluffy as well, so it got quite a big abscess before we saw it because of the amount of hair on their body. So yeah, it can be a bit tricky to keep a close eye on them, but we do our best.
Bruce came to the park along with 4 others, all confiscated by the Hong Kong authorities from the black market trade. They're the start of a European breeding programme for Bengal loris. While John prepares for the procedure, Animal Director Jeremy is preparing for the rather tricky task of getting Bruce out of the bedroom.
Oh, he's on the move. It's just above the basket even for him.
Yeah, he's got waste himself.
He's proving somewhat elusive.
One leg.
Jeremy has to clamber through the branches to reach Bruce, who isn't prepared to come easily.
He's just grabbed onto another branch.
Loris have an immensely powerful grip, and Bruce isn't giving up without a struggle.
Stroke of luck, wasn't it?
That's the glass side.
Jeremy puts Bruce in a box specially designed to allow the anaesthetic gas to slowly knock him out, helping minimise stress. After a few minutes, the anaesthetic takes effect, and John can begin the examination.
Right, Stacey, I want to listen to his heart. Hang on there.
Satisfied all is well with his heart, next John checks Bruce's teeth to see if an infection inside the mouth may have caused the lump.
The upper cheek teeth are good. It's just the upper canines, clearly the upper right's fractured there. But that's not causing the problem.
It's the first time they've had a loris under anaesthetic at the park, giving the team an invaluable opportunity to get a really close look at the species in daylight. It's a great chance to learn more about this mysterious and fascinating primate.
We're sort of trying to piece together and build a better picture of loris anatomy, behavior, ecology, why they are the way they are and how their bodies work. So this is all really valuable for us, for loris as a whole, but most importantly, to find out what Bruce's issue is.
Clipping away the fur reveals just how big the growth has become.
It's a clear lump. That could be a deep-seated abscess, in which case we're going to drain it. Take sample for bacteriology.
I've got 18 or a 14.
Oh, okay, let's have the 14. If that doesn't produce any liquid, anything, we might need to take a biopsy. That's tough.
John needs to insert a fine needle to try and drain the abscess.
Ah, we're in. Right, bacteriology swab.
However, when he attempts the procedure, only a tiny drop of fluid comes out. It's a bit of a mystery needing further investigation. So John takes samples to send off to a laboratory to be checked for infection or abnormalities. There's one possible final check.
Is there any chance of getting an X-ray?
There's a chance.
That's good.
John wants to rule out any sort of foreign body that could have caused the lump, and also to make sure it isn't a tumour.
X-rays are not showing me anything, although they do rule certain things out. Had there been a metallic foreign body, a piece of wire or something that's gone into these tissues here and caused a massive reaction, we would see that piece of wire on the X-ray because it's dense. It would appear as a white mark as much as a bone would. There's nothing of that sort there. We wait for the results from the blood and the bacteriology and the fine needle aspirate tests, and then we make a plan to do a biopsy if those tests don't show us the clear way forward.
So, like the loris themselves, the results of the examination are a bit of an enigma. It's likely Bruce will need further tests. But for now, John's going to put him on a course of anti-inflammatories until the results from the lab come through. Until then, the team will be keeping a very close eye on Bruce. It's been a few months since the park undertook the biggest woolly monkey house swap they've ever done. 14 of the 19 primates moved to new homes, where some met new housemates and others were reacquainted with old friends. The move went well, and everyone seems happy and settled in their new groups. Today, the most energetic bunch are getting a whole host of treats to keep them busy and active in their enclosure. There are 8 members in this group, headed up by 27-year-old Levar.
It's quite a lively group. There's loads of different characters in there and loads of different ages as well. So right from the youngest being under 1 to Levar, who's 27, and kind of everything in between. But Levar's, he's a very capable, dominant male. He's a very strong character, and he's a good example and leader to some of the youngsters as well.
Levar leads the way, with the rest of the group not far behind. They're all excited to tuck into the treats on offer. Energetic Gwenon Jr. is straight in there, confidently using his tail as an anchor, hanging on to the thinnest of branches as he reaches down to grab a goodie from the undergrowth. Being a bit more elderly, Levar is happy to leave the acrobatics to others today. He spotted a lone grape and, mindful of the prickly brambles, gingerly picks it out. Since joining the group, 2-year-old Carlos has really flourished, and a whole apple is a real find. Meanwhile, despite being the smallest, 2-year-old Olivia has managed to grab a packet of nuts all to herself. She's the daughter of Xingu, who's on the lookout for more of the tasty treats. She'll have to be quick though, as Junior is intent on grabbing and eating as many as he can. Handsome adolescent 5-year-old Manny is doing what all teenagers love to do, showing off. He's keen to demonstrate what a strong and impressive male he's becoming. Close siblings Carlos and Eva are a bit more restrained when it comes to play. And there's one popular woolly who's missing today.
The smallest individual in this group is little Cosmo. So as of yet, he's not actually ventured outside at the moment. So he's still nice and safe and warm inside the house. He just hasn't discovered the slides to get out of the house yet. So we're just letting him take it completely at his own pace. And when he's ready, hopefully he'll just follow another individual outside, and then we can keep a close eye on him. I mean, he's a bundle of energy himself. Nothing seems to faze him. And he's a properly fully integrated member of this group now, so couldn't be prouder. He's doing super well.
And Cosmo may soon have a tiny playmate to join him.
Wow, it's definitely in there, Xingu. Hey, I can feel it.
For the last few weeks, staff have noticed Xingu becoming larger.
I can actually feel what I'm assuming is a baby inside there. There's lots of lumps and bumps there. Yeah, really quite obvious when you feel her belly, and it's big and it's firm. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm feeling the baby now. Very exciting.
It's great news for the park's successful breeding program. This will be Xingu's third baby, and so far, she's always been a brilliant mum. Although she does need a bit more practice when it comes to drinking out of tubs. With more than 250 primates to constantly feed and care for, keeping them all healthy is a massive task for the Monkey World team. It's not always easy to identify when one individual primate is under the weather and work out what's wrong. It's crucial the staff constantly monitor the animals and react to changes in their behaviour. In the last few days, they've noticed female orangutan Oshine has been lethargic and off her food. And if food lover Oshene isn't eating, there must be something wrong. Jeremy wants to take a closer look at her. But unfortunately for him, Oshene has decided to rest up in the tunnel system connecting the indoor bedrooms to the orangutan's outdoor enclosure. There's only one thing for it. Armed with bags and punnets of fruit, Jeremy crawls into the tunnel.
Yeah, that claustrophobia.
If she's not going to come to him, he'll have to go to her.
How you doing? Are you right? Fancy an apple. Give me that. I love my apples back. She's better than she has been for the last few days, but she's been very flat, very low. We don't appear to have an upset stomach. We don't appear to have any coughs and sneezes or respiratory problems. I think symptoms are sort of similar to what they were sort of 5 or 6 years ago, when she clearly had problems with her cycle, her menstrual cycle, and we managed to get that under control with the contraceptive implants and then a different contraceptive pill. And what we're seeing now, I think, is possibly a recurrence of whatever that was. So we treat her symptomatically and then see if it happens again in another 28 days. Oh, man.
Jeremy has a unique and very special relationship with Oshene. When she came to the park in 2010, it was the close bond formed between them that helped her adjust from her old life, living as a pet with a family in South Africa, to living a more natural life at Monkey World.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get your nose. Yes, I am. Here comes that big monster. Here comes that big nose-touching monster. All right, we'll have a little massage instead. You like that? You want a massage? Because you're feeling poorly. Well, yeah, I mean, I come and hang out with her as much as I can, and there comes a point where she's had enough, and that's obvious, and then I'll go again. You know, she's awake and alert now, so she'll let me know when she's had enough. Yeah. Yeah? Is that good? Is that right? Is that okay? You good girl? You're not a bad old sausage, are you?
For the next few weeks, Oshene will be under constant observation, and today she's appreciated a little one-on-one TLC. Another primate who's needed extra care recently is young adult chimp Bart. It's been 3 weeks since he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. It was touch and go, and for a while the team feared the worst. Since then, the primate care staff have worked tirelessly with Bart to monitor and manage his condition. He's been taught to give urine samples so they can estimate his blood glucose levels and administer insulin according to how much he needs.
Come on. Over here. Good boy. Over here. Good lad. Nice. Good boy. There's your reward. Good girl, Beth.
Bart's been kept indoors while the team have been monitoring and training him. But that's not ideal for Bart or the group. He hasn't been completely alone, however. He's had company and been able to stay with the whole group when they're indoors. Vet nurse Stacey is checking his urine sample.
No, we're still the high end. So bilirubin negative, ketones negative. Specific gravity is 1.000.
His levels are stable, but he's far from being out of the woods yet. Since Bart's diagnosis, wildlife vet John Lewis has been in constant contact with the team to work out a care plan. It's been a fine balance trying to get his insulin level correct, while still feeding him the right foods in the right quantities. 3 weeks in, John is cautiously optimistic.
I mean, I think he was at death's door
Yeah, he was.
when we knocked him down for bloods, and I don't think he's at death's door now. That doesn't mean that he's out of the woods,
risk.
nor
Yeah.
does it mean we've got him stabilised. And I'd rather slowly increase and hopefully improve things for him than go too far suddenly and you find him in a coma.
Yeah.
I think, you know, this is actually very good progress.
In terms of how he is, where it's more, you know, now trying to manage him and the insulin, and it's a fine balance between the stress and what he's comfortable with and not putting him off taking the insulin and all the rest of it. He's been really good, touch wood, so far.
But the stress of staying indoors and not being with the rest of the group is taking its toll. And after much discussion and planning, the team decide to let Bart outside into the enclosure a few days later. It's a massive test for the young chimp and the team. They're working hard to keep him stable and are worried giving him the freedom of the enclosure will prove challenging. They'll still need him to come to them and give a urine sample, or better still, do a blood prick test, which can provide a more accurate glucose reading. If he doesn't respond to the team's calls to come over to them, it could really set back his progress. Bart loves being outdoors and is especially happy to be with his big sister, Eddie. But will he come over to the team for his tests?
Come here, Bart.
They needn't have worried. The constant training over the last month is paying off. Bart comes straight across and presents his finger for a prick test. Lisa can immediately get a reading.
The blood sample is the most accurate results we can get for it to tell us what's going on with him. We can use urine samples as well. The problem that we have with the urine samples, although they show us that he's got glucose in them, they don't show us the level that he's at, which can be very difficult when you're trying to pick up the right dose of insulin. So whilst we were training him to present his finger or his toes in order to get the blood results or the blood tests, we were using the urine, but we just had to get through that in order to get that behaviour nice and strong. So that's the best one we can use, but as backup we do have the urine as well. We've just got to hope things keep going the way they are and that he keeps responding to all the behaviours that we need him to do as well as what he is. But he's a really strong individual and he's young as well, so he's got a lot of time to adjust to this new style of life that he now has.
It's a lifestyle that's going to need constant monitoring and care. For now, to everyone's relief, he's stable and back outside with the rest of the group where he belongs. The park's maintenance team are hard at work once more, and they're under a bit of pressure. They're renovating an old, unused enclosure in preparation for the rather special and unprecedented arrival of 2 new primates.
It's all a little bit exciting because not only are they new arrivals to the park, it's a completely new species and a new adventure for Monkey World. So.
It all came about after Alison received a phone call from Animals Lebanon, who work closely with their government to stop endangered species being transported through their country. The authorities had confiscated a pair of monkeys at Beirut Airport, which had been illegally smuggled into the country from Ghana. Examining the photographs and footage sent to her, Alison identified them as white-throated Gwenons.
So we're now working in collaboration with the Lebanese government, who are now full signatory to CITES that protects endangered species, and working with the NGO Animals Lebanon to make sure that we can get these guys health tested, looked after in the meantime, and then transported to Monkey World so that they can sadly live out the rest of their days here at Monkey World rather than in the forests of Nigeria or Benin.
The white-throated Gwenon is considered a vulnerable species near extinction. In the wild, it's found in the tropical areas of Nigeria and Benin, living in the trees in the rainforest. They're primarily frugivores, which means their diet consists of mainly fruit, in addition to insects and leaves. The pair confiscated in Lebanon are a male and a female. But before being allowed to travel to the UK, they had to have a thorough health check. Wildlife vet John Lewis flew out to take a look at them.
Because of the background and circumstances where these monkeys have come from, they are high risk potentially to carry diseases that are zoonotic, diseases that can be shared from people to non-human primates and from non-human primates to people. So we're actually running quite significant health tests on them to give them TB tests, to get blood panels from them to know that they are fit and healthy. And then we're also doing a lot of viral screening to make sure that they don't have any other diseases such as hepatitis, and making sure before we bother transporting them to UK that they're not carrying anything scary or dangerous.
The two Gwenons have already been named Benny and Nia, but not much else is known about the pair, not even their ages or if they're from the same family.
It's a lot of up in the air questions, a new species, not a lot of information about these individuals. I just know that they're sat waiting for me in Beirut right now, and I'm really looking forward to getting them back here to the park.
So fingers are tightly crossed, Benny and Nia get the all clear to make the journey to a new home and a new start in life at Monkey World. Next time on Monkey Life, baby marmoset Amy needs a family. But will the whole household accept her?
It's a bit frantic, but it's good. Nothing bad so far.
And an attempted coup at Malagasy leaves Lemur, Indiana, feeling frozen out. Today on Monkey Life, baby marmoset Amy needs a family. But will the whole household accept her?
It's a bit frantic, but it's good. Nothing bad so far.
An attempted coup at Malagasy leaves Lemur, Indiana, feeling frozen out.
Kurt, with the help of his brother Friedrich, has really been making an effort to oust Indiana from that top spot.
And the chimps and the staff are in mourning for a much-loved friend. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Hello, Pipsqueak. Hello, Mimi.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 21 different species. This morning, the park has woken to a magical winter wonderland. Mother Nature has left a layer of frost and ice everywhere, and all the platforms and hoses in the chimp enclosures are a sparkling sight to behold. It's a rare event, and Hananya's group of 19 chimps are fascinated. As ever, it's the leader who's showing the way. Hananya carefully forms a small ball of ice and begins licking it up. High-ranking female Johnny isn't so subtle, scooping up as much ice as she can before it starts to melt. Valerie has taken a more precarious route, balancing on a slippery hose and reaching down for a frost-covered treat. It's the girls who are demonstrating just how agile chimps can be. Honey and Patricia, both showing off their skills on the icy high hoses. Thelma arrives clinging to Mum Cherry's back, which keeps her nice and warm as she gazes in wonder at the frost-covered park. Young chimps learn from their families, and after watching Jess, she soon catches on, scooping up and eating the ice. But at 4 years of age, she's adventurous and happy to go it alone. The slippery high hoses are treated with caution at first, but as Thelma gains confidence, she's soon showing off her balance skills, watched by Zeynep and Shamak, with Johnny following behind just in case. No need to worry. Thelma is turning into a strong and energetic young chimp with bags of ability. And in any case, Mum Cherry's never far away, keeping a watchful eye. Ice feast over, it's time for everyone to wrap up from the cold. While little Thelma decides, although she's enjoyed her icy encounters, she needs a little comfort, and heads inside for the warmth of the indoor bedroom. It's a big morning for another youngster at the park, who's also its newest arrival. Alison recently assisted the police following a raid in North London, where a young marmoset was found in a small cage. While the police case continues, the marmoset, probably less than a year old, has been placed in the care of Monkey World. The youngster was checked over at the park and given a clean bill of health.
Hi, little girl.
The team have now determined she's a female and named her Amy.
Come on, Clydie. I've got a new baby for you.
Amy needs a mum, so she was introduced to Clydie in the hope she'd adopt her. It was clear from the outset Amy was desperate for company of her own kind, and she made baby calls to the adult female.
Oh, what do you think, Clydie?
The introduction went well. Clydie, who was also rescued from very poor conditions, was instantly protective of Amy. A great start.
This morning, we put Clydie just back with her family, with Milo and Caesar, just for the morning, so they could eat together, just because she hasn't seen them since yesterday. We wanted to make sure they're still okay and still happy together. And then today, we're going to bring Clydie back to see Amy again, but we're also going to bring in Caesar, who's the youngster in this family group.
Clydie is a proven adoptive mum and has been with her partner Milo since he was rescued 5 years ago. To keep the introduction controlled and not overwhelm Amy, Clydie will be there when she meets Caesar.
Caesar does nothing but play, pretty much all the time. And Amy's only been here 2 days, but we see that in her as well. So the two of them together, if they get on, will just be so much fun. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that's what we're hoping for. Good girl, Clydie. Nicely, guys.
The team's main concern is whether Caesar may become a little jealous of the attention Clydie pays to Amy. But they needn't worry. The two youngsters meet, with Amy desperate for attention, and Caesar taking a few moments to grasp what's going on. But they soon start playing, and a clearly excited Amy starts to baby cry more. Baby crying is generally an attention-seeking sound from a young marmoset.
It's a bit frantic, but it's good. Nothing bad so far.
Adoptive mum Clydie stands by, ready to hand out reassurance if needed.
Good girl. All right, Clydie.
It's going so well, Alison and Karen need to decide if now is the right time to introduce dad of the group, Milo.
What do you reckon? Does she need a break? Should we take it slow? For this family group of 3, the addition of Amy could be an absolutely brilliant thing because it means Caesar, who's a bit older than Amy, will have a really good active playmate. And, you know, the remaining piece of the puzzle here is Dad Milo. And Milo isn't our most well-adjusted marmoset here at the park, and he came from very difficult circumstances and also a cruelty case in the British pet trade. I'm hopeful that he's actually a nice person and that the baby will be okay, but that's the last piece in the puzzle, is bringing Dad in on this family group.
I'm ready for another baby, Milo.
After much deliberation, they decide Amy is coping so well it could be the right time to try and introduce her prospective dad. Amy's excited to meet him and attempts to climb on his back, showing natural marmoset behaviour, as all family members take it in turns to carry the youngsters. Milo takes it in his stride. He doesn't seem too bothered by this new addition bombarding him with love and attention. The introductions today have far exceeded what the team could have hoped for so early on.
Really good. I think we've got a family unit. Shouldn't say that because I'm tempting fate, but I think we're going to be okay. If we can leave them together today, let them sleep together, this is a done deal. And like I said, now it'll just be over to sort of the police and making sure that we can keep hold of Amy.
Good boy, Milo. Caesar, come on, buddy.
If all continues to go well, Amy will have the family she so badly needs. The team are really happy.
Amy has got an amazingly playful character. She's absolutely adorable, and even though she's been kept in awful conditions, it doesn't seem to have dampened her spirit, luckily. So it just makes you happy because you know what she's come from, and to be able to give her a family back is just the most rewarding part of your job.
It's not just the weather that's cold and frosty in the lemur enclosure at Malagasy. The atmosphere is a little chilly too. Indiana, the group's dominant male and once constant companion of female leader Fennel, is having to keep his distance from the rest of the troop. 5-year-old twins, Kurt and Friedrich, are attempting a bit of a coup.
Originally, Kurt and Friedrich had just climbed above a few of the lower rankers and were slowly sort of making their way up the group. But they've decided to go straight for the top boy. And Kurt, in particular, with the help of his brother Friedrich, has really been making an effort to oust Indiana from that top spot and try and take it for himself.
There are 11 lemurs at Malagasy, 9 males, and the 2 females, Kaya and dominant female Fennel. Females are in charge in ring-tailed lemur society, with a male hierarchy below. In the last few months, the 2 youngest males, Kurt and Friedrich, have come of age and decided to take over the top spot from Indiana. Kurt has led the way, with brother Friedrich backing him up.
It started off with just a little bit of sort of pushing him off food, and it kind of escalated to a lot of chases. It didn't help as well that Kurt and Friedrich are very good friends with Kaya, who is a very feisty female, and she kind of loves any opportunity to join in on a chase, so she was allying with them and chasing Indiana around. We actually had a few nights where we had to sleep Kaya and Kurt and Friedrich separately because they weren't really letting Indiana come into the sheds at night. So it's been a bit tense over here because of that, and because of, basically trying to push Indiana out of that top spot.
But not all members of the troop are happy with Kurt and Friedrich's bid for power.
It's definitely not a case of the whole group has thrown their support in behind Kurt and Friedrich, and I think it's probably because we have this little group of guys that have been together for so many years. There's a lot of history there, so Fennel doesn't seem too keen to turn on someone who has been a close friend and ally.
Indiana does still have one close ally and friend, Renton. There's a strong bond between the pair, and even with Kurt and Friedrich in the near vicinity, Renton is still the one constant Indiana can rely on. The same can't be said of Indiana's twin brother Sirius, who until recently was his second in command.
Sirius has been conspicuous by his absence. He's pretty much stayed away from any of the chasing. He doesn't seem to want to get involved in anything like that. So Indy has been a little bit on his own when the chasing has started. He hasn't had his brother's backing.
Steph is hoping things don't go so far that Indiana is pushed out altogether. Lemurs can be pretty ferocious at times, and with their sharp teeth can inflict serious injuries on each other. For now, he's standing his ground, and although on the periphery of the group, is determined to stay close enough without causing any serious conflict.
It's kind of sad to see Indiana lose that top spot because he's had it for so many years. He's not sort of ancient, but he is getting on a little bit in years, whereas the young twins are in the prime of their life at the moment. They've put on loads of weight, they look really, really good. So yeah, it is a natural thing to see the older guys eventually sort of falling down the hierarchy, but this is what lemurs do, unfortunately. They're not always the most pleasant to each other, and everyone wants to be on top.
For now, the team are keeping a close eye on the group and hoping things don't become too aggressive. Whether Indiana can see off the challenge and climb back to the top of the group, or whether Kurt and Friedrich will ultimately succeed in their power grab, only time will tell. Monkey World was set up 30 years ago to provide a permanent home to 9 abused Spanish beach chimps. Since then, hundreds of primates have been rescued from all over the world, many arriving in poor physical condition, having suffered abuse or neglect in the hands of unscrupulous owners. Thanks to the dedicated staff at the park, most recover to live a healthy and normal life with others of their own kind. But with over 250 primates to care for, many of whom are elderly, it's not surprising the team have had to come to terms with losing some of their much-loved charges over the years. Some are expected, but every now and again something happens that leaves the team and the primates reeling. A few days ago they received such a shock. Without warning, bachelor chimp Ben suddenly passed away.
We've had just a real big shock and tragedy here in our bachelor group of chimpanzees. Unexpectedly, would have never called it in a million years, but Ben has passed away. Nobody saw it coming. He went out with the group like he does every morning, and then all of a sudden, some calls went out that were clearly a little bit more full on and alerted the keepers that something was going on. And when they came out, Ben was out in the middle of the enclosure with everybody, sort of down on his belly. He sat up once, twice, and just collapsed forward and was gone.
A post-mortem has revealed the cause of this tragic death.
Ben died of a heart attack, and the condition which he had is called fibrosing cardiomyopathy, which is not an uncommon condition in young adult African apes. It's very sad and tragic. There was nothing that we, could have known was developing with Ben, or B, that we could have done anything about it even if we had known. Still, it leaves a big hole in the bachelor chimps, and sadly for us here at the park, a very tragic and difficult circumstance to deal with.
Ben was one of the primates born at the park. He arrived in 2001 to Mum Peggy, following the failure of her birth control. Sadly, his start to life didn't go smoothly.
Yeah, I looked in my morning checks, and I looked in there, and there's baby been had and abandoned on the floor, and Mum, Peggy, had just sort of put him down and didn't want to know. And so clearly that, if you have to hand rear an animal, it's always a decision you have to make, whether you know, when to go in, if to go in, but there's nothing more obvious than that. So clearly, you know, we had to take him away to be hand reared.
Ben was fortunate to have the love and attention of Jeremy, who hand-reared him from day one.
Look at him. Looks like anybody's kid, doesn't he? Dribbling and...
And 2 months later, he was joined by another chimp, a little female called Pip, also left to fend for herself, this time by Mum Cherry. Together, they formed an inseparable bond.
Ben and Pip were, I think really, it's a pretty well a foregone conclusion that bringing two up together like that, you know, whether they're chimps or orangs or any other animal, they're going to sort of have a real bonding going on, and Ben and Pip had a really good bonding. They can keep each other company, they can use each other as role models and then sort of comfort each other, play with each other, entertain each other, and then there's less human influence going on, which of course is a lot better for them and easier to integrate them back into family life with other chimpanzees.
Under the supervision of Sally, they both graduated into the chimp nursery where new friendships were made. Ben in particular became firm friends with Seamus and Turkish Charlie, partnerships that would help him in the future. And he made a big impression with the primate care staff too.
You remember him from those days as just such a sweet-natured chimp. He was always so affectionate and really gentle around the staff and just, you know, a fun chimp to be around. So I feel very privileged in that sense because I obviously got to watch Ben grow and watch him, you know, become the magnificent male that he became.
Having outgrown the nursery, Ben, along with Pip, moved to Hananya's group. But Hananya wasn't going to accept the young male into his community. So he moved to the bachelors.
Hello, neighbours. Who's that? Is that Benny boy? He's a good boy.
Where he would be reacquainted with old friends.
Yeah, there were obviously a couple of individuals in the bachelor group that Ben had lived with in the past, and that was kind of a tick, I guess, in terms of making a decision about whether it would work there. And it's, you know, a testament to those animals and kind of the relationships that they form and the memories that they have, that they can recognise individuals many years on, and individuals that have changed physically. So that kind of gave us a good starting point, I guess. And from that point onwards, really, most members of the bachelor group took to Ben, and he developed, I think, so quickly at that point and became really a force to be reckoned with and quite a significant member of that group.
Ben was an extremely astute and savvy chimp, forging strong relationships with some of the more dominant animals, yet still maintaining close bonds with the low rankers. He soon found himself rising up the bachelor hierarchy. And physically, he turned into a formidable-looking chimp. Strong and confident. Everything required to potentially become the alpha male, which makes his passing even more tragic.
It's just so sad with Ben because he was a very young adult chimp and absolutely gorgeous. Just incredibly big, beautiful, perfect, and you know, they always, the saying, only the good die young. And he was one of those good guys. And that's what, it does make it harder because we can all look at him and think that he would have made potentially a great leader of this group.
Yeah, I mean, he really was a pin-up chimp. He was so magnificent, this glossy coat. He was very lean, but really well muscled, you know, by the end, and just so great to look at. And watching him display around the enclosure, it'd take your breath away, really. And I think he had all the makings of a superb dominant male. And I think he changed the dynamics of the bachelor group for the better.
Ben had an impact on all those around him, his own kind, and the team who cared for him.
Ben was a nice guy. You know, Ben was, I think he was a sort of, I don't think he was particularly, he was capable, I mean, because he was a big lad. But I don't think he was anything other than a nice guy.
Everybody's still reeling. We haven't moved on from it. It was a real shock when you don't see it coming and an animal's in the prime of his life and he's got everything going for him. It's a big loss and one that we'll feel for a long time.
Next time on Monkey Life, Alison's in the Lebanon to rescue 2 rare endangered Gwenon monkeys.
Hey, Mrs. Benny and Nia. Oh, there's the little boy.
And back at the park, there's a wobbly treat for the bachelor chimps. Today on Monkey Life, Alison's in the Lebanon to rescue 2 rare endangered Gwenon monkeys.
Hey, Mrs. Benny and Nia. Oh, there's the little boy.
But when she gets the pair back to London, things don't go to plan.
Really sad, actually. The ministry vet isn't going to clear them tonight.
And back at the park, there's a wobbly treat for the bachelor chimps. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Hello, Mrs. Hi, you. Are you a good girl?
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 21 different species. Lebanon, sitting at the crossroads of the Mediterranean basin, neighbouring Syria and Israel, has, like many countries, suffered from illegal wildlife smuggling. But the authorities there have started to crack down on the trade. And as a result, Alison has flown in to rescue 2 rare and endangered monkeys, white-throated Gwenons. The Lebanese authorities at Beirut Airport confiscated the pair, who were illegally smuggled from Benin on a flight from Ghana. A charitable organisation called Animals Lebanon, set up 10 years ago to improve the welfare of animals in the region, was asked to look after them until a suitable home could be found. Now, Alison has arrived to take the duo back to a new life at Monkey World.
Hey, Jason. How you going?
Good seeing you
Yeah,
again.
good to see you.
Welcome.
What an amazing office.
Good, thank you.
Jason Myers has worked for Animals Lebanon since the charity began, and has been caring for the 2 Gwenons at home since they were confiscated.
It'll be good for the monkeys, it'll be good for us, it'll be good for everybody really to be done with this situation, to get them on to the next phase of their life. So we have 24 hours to get everything done though, so it's time to get started and we'll be able to get it going.
In 2013, the Lebanese government signed up to CITES, the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. And with the help of Animals Lebanon, they've been working hard to stop the illegal trade of protected species moving through the country.
We've had some lions and leopards and tiger cubs.
Only last month, the authorities confiscated a loris from a local pet shop. It was being advertised on social media for $2,000, along with 2 other infants, who most likely didn't survive.
Crazy. CITES Appendix 1 species, so they really had no idea what they were doing.
So here's Mr. Loris. So we got him about
Mr. Loris, I love it.
About a month ago.
We're gonna have to work on a name.
Yes, I'm not very good. I think I've run out of names. I think he's sleeping now in this little white basket. Seems to be his favorite.
Okay.
Loris are under threat from loss of habitat, traditional medicine, and the illegal pet trade. The future of this little loris depends on an upcoming court case. It's hoped it'll eventually be able to join others of its kind at Monkey World's new Loris complex. At the moment, he, or she, is fast asleep in this basket. They are, after all, nocturnal.
Yep, 7 o'clock, he'll wake up, we'll be back.
All right, we'll set our clocks. Fantastic.
Unlike Monkey World, Animals Lebanon isn't equipped to house and look after every species they rescue, so the Gwenons are living in 2 cages at Jason's flat. It's a short journey from the office, and Alison is excited to see the Gwenons. The park has never housed this particular species, and white-throated Gwenons are in fact so rare, very little is known about them in the wild or captivity.
Oh, wow.
Hey, guys.
The pair have already been named. Benny, a male, is thought to be the younger of the two, and the other is a female, Nia.
Hey, Mrs. Benny and Nia. Oh, there's a little boy. They're not always together.
No, not always together. He gets scared of her, but we've never seen her do anything to him. I think it's that he is younger and has spent less time in captivity. Got some mango, some papaya.
Alison is keen to learn as much information as possible from Jason about the Gwenons' diet and individual habits.
Anything that they particularly dislike?
No, because almost everything we've given, they've eaten at some point.
It's just amazing to finally be here and actually seeing Benny and Nia. I've had so many photographs and video clips from Jason, so really good and really pleased to see them. So I'm just rolling everything around in my head because this is going to be a quick turnaround. How do we get them into the boxes? Will they walk into the boxes willingly? I reckon she might, because she's nosy and pushy, in the finest female tradition, and that he's a little bit more jittery and cautious, so he might need a helping hand into the box.
To give the pair some natural daylight and extra stimulation, Jason puts them out on the balcony every day.
In general, they seem quite content with the situation. They eat well, they're really quite happy. We haven't had any problems. They seem interested in what's going on around them. So they have a view of trees, but that's not good enough, especially knowing they must have came from the wild and that they probably haven't been in captivity too long since we got them. So it's good to get them on their way and get them out of here and into a better place, certainly.
Benny and Nia have already been health checked on behalf of Monkey World by wildlife vet John Lewis, who flew out a few weeks ago. Thankfully, he gave them the all clear. Benny and Nia will need to spend one more night in the cages that have been their home for the last few months. When Alison and Jason return to the office in the evening, the tiny loris is up and about.
There's a bug. Look.
No one is sure of the primate's sex just yet, but Alison took a close look, being careful to avoid the loris's toxic bite.
I think it's a little girl. Not 100% on that. She's clearly a juvenile and not a pygmy loris, but a Bengal slow loris, I believe. But she's looking fantastic. She's got a good attitude and clearly a good appetite. We'll have to wait and see, but really pleased, really exciting, sweet as can be. Really nice.
So far, everything is going to plan. But tomorrow may be a challenging day for Alison and the two Gwenons. Hopefully, if all goes well, in the not-too-distant future, the loris will be able to join them and start a new life at the park too. More than 2,000 miles away, the team at Monkey World are busy preparing for the imminent arrival of Benny and Nia. For the last few months, the maintenance staff have been busy transforming an old, unused enclosure into a purpose-built house, ready to welcome this brand new species to the park.
Everybody here is really excited to meet the new arrivals, see what they're like. Also, obviously, it's a little bit daunting. It is a new species here. We don't really know an awful lot about them. So, you know, working out what's best for them kind of when we're decking out the enclosures and making sure that we've got everything that they'll need for their health and to make them comfortable. But I think we're all on track and pretty much set to go.
Most species of Gwenon are arboreal, meaning they live and move in trees. So the team have decked out the enclosure with lots of high ropes, cargo nets and platforms for them to climb on, as well as using the existing natural planting.
Obviously, we'll take it very slowly. They might be really nervous of the whole situation. It's a big deal for them, you know. They've done a big, long journey and they've kind of gone from place to place so far. So they might be very nervous, very jumpy, very wary of individuals as well. So we'll take it all very slowly, very cautiously, and we'll just play it by ear and obviously do as much as we can to make them settle in as quickly and as smoothly as we can.
One option being discussed is to move Patas monkey Mitsa and ring-tailed lemur George, known as the odd couple, over to join the new arrivals. The three species wouldn't overlap in the wild, but putting them together might make them more active. But for now, the staff must put the finishing touches to the enclosure, ready for Benny and Nia's arrival in the early hours of tomorrow morning. It's early morning in Lebanon, and today is a big day for Alison and the two rare white-throated Gwenons, Benny and Nia. She's here to collect the pair and take them back to a new life at Monkey World. They were confiscated several months ago, but the paperwork and legalities meant they couldn't be moved straight away, and they've been looked after by Jason Myers from Animals Lebanon, a charitable organisation working in the region. Jason has been in close contact with the authorities at Beirut Airport in order to organise a smooth and safe transit back to the UK for the pair. But right at the last minute, there seems to be a hitch.
So who does he need from customs to say it's done?
There's been some miscommunication between different departments, so one department is not prepared for the Gwenons' imminent arrival.
So it's now 1 o'clock, the flight leaves a little bit after 5, so we still got time. It'll work out.
Benny and Nia, however, are completely oblivious to the potential hold-up.
This is it. We're just about to get the guys boxed up. There's been a little bit of a paperwork drama at the airport, but that's nothing new. I've actually given them breakfast this morning, so I've been getting to know Benny and Nia a bit better. And I'm hopeful that everything's gonna go smoothly. They got a bit of food in their belly, and it's always the really difficult time for me. I get all stressed and my stomach's doing flip-flops. If I could just explain to them that the airport's gonna be a little bit loud and scary, but in the end, we're gonna get you back to the park and it's gonna be okay. But I think it's time to move.
But before that, the two monkeys need to be transferred from their cages into the travel boxes. Some pieces of fruit might tempt them in and make the whole process less stressful.
Are you seeing what's going in there? It looks really good.
Benny will go first. He's thought to be the younger of the two and a little more nervous.
Come on, little man.
He's wary of the box and can't quite summon up the courage to go in.
Come on, buddy.
He's going to need some gentle persuasion.
Could give it one more go. I don't want to
That was easy enough.
A bit of encouragement, and he's in. Next up is Nia, the female, who looks older than Benny and is a lot more confident, although she's now on her guard.
Yeah, she knows what you're doing. She's not dumb.
There you go. Down.
But it doesn't take long for Nia to enter the travel box. With the Gwenons safely boxed and all travel documents ready, the team can now head off to Beirut Airport. Alison is happy with how the Gwenons are coping.
I'm really pleased. We just have to hope that everything goes smoothly now at cargo. We need to get them strapped to a pallet and then up into the plane, and then our job here for now is done until we start again at Heathrow.
When they arrive at the airport, the two monkeys are weighed and customs officials check all the paperwork. Thankfully, everything now seems to be in order.
All right, we put them here. We're done weighing, let's put them here, guys.
But Alison and Jason are determined. Once Benny and Nia have passed through customs, they're not left on the tarmac under a hot sun waiting to be loaded. They want someone with the monkeys at all times.
Thank you so much.
The airport officials agree.
Everybody's well aware that they need to be looked after carefully, so they should be okay.
Alison is allowed onto the tarmac to check the Gwenons one more time before they're loaded into the cargo hold of the plane. She's happy. Considering all the noise around them, Benny and Nia seem fairly relaxed.
That's them just being loaded into the plane, which is fantastic. I can see that they're in the front hold. That's going to be heated to 21 degrees by the captain. We'll make sure that that happens, and they should have a smooth flight back to UK. It should go quiet soon for them, which is nice.
Alison keeps watch until the last possible moment. All she can do now is hope the Gwenons will cope well with the journey. With such a diverse mix of primates at Monkey World, the care teams do their best to come up with stimulating and creative ways to keep them occupied and engaged.
Nice and wibbly wobbly though, aren't they?
At the Bachelor's chimp enclosure, the 14 boys are in for a bit of a weird and wobbly treat. Huge trays of jelly.
Right, okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. It's just a bit of fun for them, really. They don't get things like this very often. So we've got the different flavoured fruit jellies with no added sugar, so we don't want them all having a sugar rush. And in them we've put things like sunflower seeds, so there's bits for them to sort of pick out and nibble on as well. When we weighed them out, there's like 14 litres of jelly in each of these, so it's quite heavy to try and lift them up, and they're very wobbly. So yeah, I'm a bit covered in it at the moment, but hopefully they're all you can hear they're all very excited because they've spotted us putting them out. So hopefully we'll get a good reaction when they actually come out to experience their little jelly trays.
To give some of the low-ranking chimps the chance to grab their share, the team are placing the jelly trays all around the enclosure. They hope high rankers like Paco, Butch, Buxom and Jester won't hoard all the trays to themselves.
We're also going to throw some food out from the towers just to make sure that there is something for everyone. But yeah, I am sure we will see the big lads firing out first. That's how chimp life goes. The dominant males get the pick of the crop. So that's as we would expect, but we do as much as we possibly can to make sure that the lower ranking individuals do get some as well. So fingers crossed, we should get a good reaction when we actually let them out.
And here they come. As expected, it's the dominant males who head immediately for the trays of jelly. Paco makes full use of his dexterous hands to scoop up as much of the wobbly treat as he can. And old-timer Butch joins another high ranker, Buxom, as they tuck amicably into the jelly. Low ranker Seamus, the youngest in the group, is savouring every mouthful. While Charlie isn't sure what to make of it all, and is waiting until the high rankers have had their fill. Perhaps he should follow Paquito's approach. He asks for reassurance from Mojo, who readily gives it. Before Gypsy arrives throwing his weight around. Mojo isn't having any of it, straight away telling Gypsy off.
They will have the odd sort of boys tussle, but it's what you would expect. Sometimes they're having fun, sometimes it's the big boys maybe pushing their dominance onto the lower ones, but it's all part of life as a chimpanzee.
In the wild, chimpanzee troops are made up of a core group of males, with females who tend to come and go. The males often forge strong alliances that can last a lifetime. That's one of the reasons why the bachelor group tends to work so well.
Do get very strong social bonds between the males because they basically play politics and they'll spend time grooming each other and backing each other up, and that's how they raise their ranks in the group. The more individuals you can get on your side, the more likely you are to climb the hierarchy. So with the bachelors, you do see quite a lot of the time they'll spend time grooming each other, and that's their way of sort of ensuring that they increase their status within the social ladder.
As the morning draws to a close, some of the low rankers get their chance to tuck in. Kiko is certainly making the most of it, while Freddy uses the hands-free approach. It's great to see that in such a large all-male group with a strict hierarchy, no one has missed out. And they're not leaving anything either, even scooping the leftovers off the grass. It's early evening at London Heathrow's Animal Reception Centre. Every year, hundreds of thousands of animals pass through here when they arrive on flights from abroad. Tonight, it's the turn of Benny and Nia, two white-throated Gwenons who've just arrived on a flight from Beirut. The centre employs many people, including vets and care staff, to look after the welfare of the animals. But the arrival of the two Gwenons is probably a first for everyone.
Just done a quick visual check just to make sure they've made the journey okay. They're just waiting on the veterinary paperwork now. They need to clear customs, and then they'll be making their journey off to Monkey World.
Alison has made the short journey from the terminal to the reception centre. She's anxious to check on Benny and Nia following the flight. But there's already a problem. A vet from DEFRA wants to remove them from their boxes to check their microchips.
There's no way you can open those boxes.
Okay.
Not gonna happen. They will be out. They are very lively. You will never catch them again. It took us quite a while to box them up.
He gives it a try with the two monkeys still in their travel boxes, but Benny and Nia are quick movers and a bit skittish after such a long journey and won't stay still. Their microchips will have to be read at the park when they're more settled, and the information passed on to DEFRA.
Yeah, I think we're just waiting for the paperwork to be finalised now, and then we should be on our way.
But it's not that easy. There's a problem. The vet has an issue with some of the paperwork.
Ministry vet isn't going to clear them tonight, so they're going to have to stay here and stay in their boxes overnight, which is a real shame. We had hoped to get them down to the park. But because the health certificate was in French.
Benny and Nia will have to stay at the reception centre overnight in their travel boxes, looked after by the staff there. The paperwork is being referred to head office, which won't be open until the morning. For now, after a long trip, Alison must head back to the park empty-handed. Next time on Monkey Life, Chimp Freddy has an uncomfortable problem.
Stitch, please.
But can a human medical specialist get to the bottom of it?
If these blue areas are the areas that he's bleeding from, they are in effect hemorrhoids.
And a new baby for woolly mum Xingu. Today on Monkey Life, two unusual new arrivals at the park bring a fresh challenge for the team.
It's a bit like learning a completely new language, so there's going to be a lot of hard work moving forward.
Chimp Freddy has an uncomfortable problem.
Stitch, please.
But can a human medical specialist get to the bottom of it?
These blue areas, the areas that he's bleeding from, they are in effect hemorrhoids.
And a new baby for woolly mum Xingu. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Now she's starting to look around. I think we're going to make good progress.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 22 different species. It's early morning at Heathrow Airport's Animal Reception Centre, where Monkey World's newest arrivals, white-throated Gwenons Benny and Nia, have spent the night in their travel crates. Their arrival was held up because of paperwork issues when they landed, after flying in from Beirut with Alison. It's been an anxious night for everyone, but with the documents now accepted, the pair are about to head back to the park, where an excited team are waiting for them.
They had a bit of a hiccup when they landed at Heathrow last night, so they've not arrived when we originally planned. So yeah, the poor guys have had a long time in their travel crate, so now it's just a case of get them here ASAP, get them into a room, they can stretch their legs and start to settle in. What's going on, eh?
There you go. You manage it?
It's not actually heavy.
Benny and Nia are going to be living in a purpose-built house and enclosure. But before they're allowed outside, they need to get used to their new surroundings inside.
Hey, you missus.
First, they're weighed.
10.18.
Next, they'll be let into their new bedrooms, one at a time. It's a while since they've had such a big space to move freely around in.
This is it, guys.
You're going in together?
Yeah. They haven't been in together for a couple of weeks, I think, but they lived together permanently prior to that, so.
Nia is first. She may be the more confident of the two, but she takes her time checking everything out, before finally summoning up the courage to leave the travel crate and move into her new bedroom. She begins to explore and seems fascinated by the world outside the window. Benny is next. While they were being looked after in Lebanon, the pair spent much of their time in separate cages, because Benny seemed nervous of Nia at feeding time. But Alison is confident the new bedrooms will allow them plenty of space. Benny joins Nia and, although a little anxious, seems relaxed in her company.
It's just really nice to see them able to sort of run, even though it's only 3 bedrooms so far, but running back and forth. So active, and that's what those little scrawny legs need. So waiting for them to build up some muscle and a bit more confidence, get stuck into their food and put on some condition. But they're looking good.
The team take the chance to observe them closely. Looking after Gwenons will be a new experience and a big learning curve for all involved.
Enjoy it, Benny. Come on. Good boy. Good boy, Benny. Did you get it? Good boy.
Straight in?
Yeah.
Very little is known about the pair, other than that they were illegally taken from the wild. Information about the species is limited, and Alison is pretty certain Benny and Nia are the only 2 white-throated Gwenons currently in legal captivity in the world. It's a huge responsibility for the team, but a very exciting one.
Obviously, we're going to have to do quite a lot of observations of them and stuff. It's a bit like learning a completely new language as well, because we need to kind of pick up what all their vocalizations mean, all their kind of behaviorisms and mannerisms that are either unique to the individual but also to the species as well. So there's going to be a lot of hard work moving forward to make sure that we are fulfilling all of their needs and doing everything that they need. Obviously, we do want to make sure 100% that they are okay staying together overnight when we're not here. So we'll just keep watching them till the end of the day, make sure that they're happy, they're settled, and we'll just make sure we come in nice and early and check on them in the morning and then take the next step from there.
So far, everything is looking positive. The pair seem happy together, but they'll need time to settle in and recover from their journey. In the coming days, they'll be tested for parasites before being allowed outside for the first time. And they may even get to meet some new friends. A few months ago, popular and lively chimp Bart became very ill. After a thorough medical check, he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. It was a shock for everyone, and a first for the primate care team at Monkey World. For a while, it was touch and go. But the team rose to the challenge, and as a result of their hard work and dedication, Bart has been getting stronger and stronger each day. To everyone's relief, things are really looking up for the young chimp.
Bart's doing great. He is actually better than we expected him to be. We expected to get him sort of back to the health that he was, but he seems to have gone way past that, and he's having a bit of a growth spurt now. His muscles are really well developed and he just looks amazing. He's a lot healthier, he's a lot happier than he was before, so he's doing really well.
But Bart isn't completely out of the woods. Diabetes is a serious condition, and he'll need constant monitoring and medication for the rest of his life.
Bart, can you turn around?
Every day, his blood glucose levels are tested and he's given an insulin injection.
He's pretty stable most days now, so his insulin dose actually hasn't changed in quite a long time. So he'll have that and then he'll carry on back with his day.
Medication is only one part of managing Bart's condition. The most important aspect is getting his food right. It's key to keeping him strong and healthy. When he was first diagnosed, the team had to completely rethink his and the rest of the group's diet. They went back to basics, and through careful testing and trials, have now discovered how different foods affect his condition. As a result, they've come up with a strict feeding regime for Bart, which seems to work for him and the others.
The biggest thing really for his management as in the group and for his diet is to make sure he doesn't really go too long without feeding. So we tend to feed them once every hour to an hour and a half. We don't like him to go more than 2 hours without food, and that just means he's getting that gradual release. He's constantly got something breaking down in his system, and that just means that he's got a slow release of sugar throughout the day, and that's how we can keep him stable. If we can keep his blood glucose level stable, and we're not fluctuating too much, then he'll be happier, his moods will be improved, and in general, he's just a lot healthier.
Looking ahead, the team will need to keep a close eye on Bart and his condition as he grows and matures.
We've got the diet side of Bart's life sorted. Managing his diabetes, that bit is, we're pretty happy with. We may need to make changes, but we're quite content with that. There are obviously other things that will affect his blood glucose levels as well, so things like a growth spurt. He'll be 11 this year, so he's naturally going to mature. He's already starting to get bigger, and that could cause issues. I don't expect it's going to cause massive issues, but it's something that we need to consider with him. But it's just like everything's going to have some sort of effect on his blood glucose levels, but if we can keep on top of him and keep a close eye on him, we should be able to deal with that fine.
One thing's for sure, the rest of the group seem happy to have their pal Bart back to his happy, confident self.
Bart's doing great in the group. He's still got the same strong relationships that he had before any of this started. He's really getting on really well with the group, and the rest of the group are coping absolutely fine with him having these extra bits of treats as well. So he's just a happy chimp. He's sort of pretty much back to the Bart we had a few years ago.
At the orangutan nursery, there's a seasonal treat awaiting the group: fresh grapes on the vine. The primate care team are working hard to place them all around the enclosure, positioning the tasty fruit so the orangutans will have to use their climbing ability to reach them.
Everything put up high to encourage everyone to climbing around. So this is great stuff. So when you put everything, all the breakfast in the morning all around, they will climbing around just like what they do in the wild.
There are 6 to feed in the nursery, all juveniles, apart from Oshene. Recently, she was under the weather, but she's now fully recovered, and as a female who loves her food, will be ready to grab her share. Sylvester and Jin lead the excited group out, all heading up high in their rush to reach the tasty grapes. Oshene, on the other hand, will always take the easy option and collects the bunches which have fallen to the ground. High above her on the cargo net, acrobatically holding on with one hand while using his mouth to store as many grapes as he can, Jin demonstrates his agility, while Sylvester shows off his dexterity, using his toes to secure the grapes. In the wild, orangutans are the largest tree-dwelling animal on the planet and spend most of their time in the tree canopy, foraging and eating. The nursery group have all gathered up a decent-sized portion and tuck in, while keeping an eye out in case anyone makes a grab for their breakfast. Young Mimi is the last into the enclosure, but still manages to find her share. She spent the first 2 years of her life without the company of other orangutans, but has come on in leaps and bounds over the last few months.
Mimi has been fantastic. She's really, really confident. She's moving everywhere, anywhere, in the house, enclosure, roof feeding, climbing around top platform in the enclosure, no problem. She's just super confident. She's fantastic. She's great. Everybody seems like really like her as well, especially like Bulu and Rika. They're always spending time with Mimi as well. And Mimi loves Oshene, and Oshene loves her food so much. But when it comes to Mimi, Oshene happy to share her food with her, no problem.
The morning treat has been a great success for the whole group and got them moving and using their natural climbing ability and agility. Although Jin seems to have had one bunch too many.
This morning is fabulous. Everybody climbing around and enjoying the grapes. Beautiful morning this morning.
Having had their fill, it's time to do what this group does best: playtime and having fun. And when you're young, it's good to get a helping hand. With so many primates to care for, the team at the park occasionally come across an ailment requiring specialist treatment. At the bachelor chimps, poor Freddy has got a rather delicate condition down below. Over the years, he's suffered from hemorrhoids, also known as piles. Just like in humans, they cause painful swellings in the rectal area, which tend to itch and cause difficult bowel movements.
Back here again, in the same place, same animal.
Today, wildlife vet John Lewis has been joined by Mr. Andrew Clark, a consultant general surgeon who specialises in pelvic floor disorders. It's not the first time he's seen Freddy.
We've had 3 goes on him. Because remember, last time was your second time seeing him, if I remember correctly?
It was.
Yeah. So he's one of your long-term patients.
He is. He's becoming a friend of mine, is young Freddy.
Freddy was rescued in 1995 in rather strange and sad circumstances. A policeman found him wandering around in a park in Austria. No one knows how he got there, but it's thought he may have been an abandoned pet. He was only around 6 years old at the time. Alison and her late husband Jim Cronin went to Austria to pick him up, and once at the park, he joined the rowdy bachelors.
Good boy.
Consultant Andrew Clark is familiar with Freddy's condition. He performed a similar operation on the chimp 9 years ago.
If we try this now, because I think it's the least invasive, it's the safest thing, it's the quickest thing to recover from.
But he normally operates on human patients, so John Lewis is assisting throughout the procedure. The primate care team have managed to successfully anaesthetise Freddy by hand injection, and he's quickly brought to the park's hospital.
We've got to intubate him, so... What does he weigh?
71.3. John intubates him and makes sure he's stable, so the procedure can begin.
I mean, generally, he's in good condition, really. He's overweight, and that the keepers now know about, and they should try and address that, because he's... apparently he's a bit of a hoover. He will go around picking up any food that's left over anywhere. But he has put weight on, and we'd like to see that weight off. Apart from that, he looks like a pretty normal chimp. I mean, he has a few little tiny nicks on him, let's see here. So that's just life as a chimp, that's absolutely nothing at all. So no, apart from that, he's fine.
Now Andrew can examine the affected area.
These blue areas are the areas that he's bleeding from, and they are in effect hemorrhoids or mucosal prolapse. The inner lining of the rectum is protruding through the anal canal, and that's why he's bleeding. And what we're debating is that really what we're seeing is the effect of the problem, and what we're dealing with is not the cause.
While the piles are obvious, the cause of Freddy's bleeding is another issue. It seems that part of his bowel is folding in on itself, causing Freddy to strain when defecating. It may require a separate, far longer and more complicated operation to rectify. It's something Andrew often carries out on humans, but has never performed on a chimp.
It ups the stakes massively, and I'd need to just learn about the anatomy of a male chimpanzee's pelvic floor so that I can minimise any surprises.
But today, he's just going to treat the hemorrhoids, using cutting-edge technology usually reserved for his human patients.
We've had a lot of success with this procedure over the years in humans. Very high patient satisfaction, low pain, low recurrence rates.
He's locating each individual hemorrhoid and then removing them by stitching and cutting off the blood supply.
You're right, your end, John. You happy? Stitch, please. Thank you. It looks better. It looks better than I've seen it. So that's why I think we should try and just give it a little bit of time to see.
The procedure is fairly quick, taking just 45 minutes. And Andrew is confident Freddy's discomfort will be eased for now.
The procedure that we did today is safe and the recovery is quick. We'll see how events unfold, and I think we need to give it a few weeks. But if, despite the measures today, he continues to strain and has a very difficult bowel function, then we may need to consider procedures that could elevate the pelvic floor, that could stop this slippage and straighten the rectum so that he's not straining.
Now it's a case of wait and see, as Freddy returns to the chimp bedrooms to recover from today's operation. The team will continue to assess him over the coming months to see if any further action will be required. There's been some exciting news at Lavar's group of woolly monkeys. When staff arrived early this morning, they discovered they had a new arrival. Overnight, Xingu had given birth.
Baby is so cute, really fluffy, very pretty. All babies are cute, but this is a particularly pretty baby. A fairly big baby compared to some of the others that we've seen, so fairly well developed, very furry, very fresh-faced and bright-eyed around the house. The grip, which is naturally very strong when babies are born, particularly in the wild, they have to have a really strong grip straight away. That is the same here at the park. The baby is gripping on really well and seems to be very confident in gripping onto mum as mum is moving around the house.
Xingu is a really experienced mum, having already successfully reared 2 healthy woollies, Xavi and Olivia. The team are hopeful this baby will follow suit. While son Xavi has moved on and is now in Chippy's group, 2-year-old daughter Olivia is still with mum and is already showing a keen interest in her new sibling. Despite having experienced a long and exhausting night, Xingu is coping well with the new arrival.
She was really tired this morning and she's been quite grumpy with a couple of the youngsters around her, but she has been actively seeking out and sitting particularly next to Levar and a couple of the other youngsters. She has been napping a lot so far today, but that's just to be as expected. She must be absolutely exhausted. But as the day has gone on, she has got a lot more relaxed, so we are confident that she'll carry on being a fabulous mother.
It's extremely difficult to determine the sex of newborn woollies, but the team have managed to get a few close-up peeks at the baby and have a good idea.
As we've been watching throughout the morning, we are pretty sure that we have a little girl on our hands here, but we will continue to watch out over the next couple of days just to confirm and get a 100% accurate look at her.
And a quick check with the dates has confirmed that Levar is the new baby's dad. He's already had a good look at his newborn daughter, and he's doing a great job of keeping the other youngsters busy, providing Mum Xingu with some well-deserved peace.
As Levar gets older, he just gets better and better. He's just getting more distinguished and he's just getting incredibly handsome as the days go by. But with that, he's getting much more relaxed around the rest of the group. Today has been a day filled with play. He just spends an awful lot of time with the youngsters, particularly Cosmo and Olivia. He's also really close to Carlos and they do spend a lot of time playing. And the house is just filled with laughter, which is lovely to hear from the woolly monkeys.
There are less than 40 woolly monkeys in captivity outside of the Amazon basin. It's a great success story for Monkey World, as woollies in captivity are facing extinction, making every newborn extra special. Next time on Monkey Life, marmoset Amy has her day in court, represented by Alison.
The previous owner of Amy the marmoset monkey has been found guilty of neglect.
And the chase is on after a sweet treat for the squirrel monkeys.